So I'll officially call the meeting to order. This is the April 26th meeting of the Iowa City Human Rights Commission. I'm behind. Where's my roll call? Okay. So I am here. Ashley Lindley.
Here.
Mark Priest.
Here.
Roger Lasala.
Here.
Sylvia Johns.
Here.
And then Bijou, Tony, Siri, and Ali are not currently present. Okay. Any volunteers to read the land acknowledgement tonight?
I can do it.
Okay. It's like 2 pages down.
I'm on it. The Iowa City Human Rights Commission, as we meet today in the community of Iowa City, which now occupies the homelands of the Native American nations, to whom we owe our commitment and dedication. The area of Iowa City was within the homelands of the Iowa, Meskwaki, and Sauk, and because history is complex and time goes far back beyond memory, we also acknowledge the ancient connections of many other indigenous peoples here. The history of broken treaties and forced removal that dispossessed indigenous peoples of their homelands was and is an act of colonization and genocide that we cannot erase. We implore the Iowa City community to commit to understanding and addressing these injustices as we work toward equity, restoration, and reparations.
Thank you. Agenda item 3 is approval of the March meeting minutes. Do I have I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Priest, seconded by Lindley. Any discussion or edits or comments?
Look good to me.
I thought so too.
Thank you.
Hearing none, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. Public comment from anyone or from the public for items that are not on the agenda. Anybody here to make a comment from the public? No, not yet. Hearing none, we'll get to our visitor. So welcome. So this is introduction and Q&A with Joshua. Is it Abusu?
Yes.
Okay. So Daisy, do you want to do a brief introduction of him?
Okay. This is Joshua. He started a little under 2 months ago. He is a fairly new position, but we are very excited to have him. If he wants to go up to the
Yes, please.
podium and introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure.
It's a pleasure having you. So looking forward to learning more about your background and
Right.
the new position.
Right. So my name is Joshua Abusu, originally from Congo. I am a community outreach for immigrant and refugees. So as Daisy said, I started about 2 months ago. And as part of my job is to develop a better understanding of the community, like I would say, immigrant and refugees groups to better understand the job of the police, what we do, and at the same time also helping the police officers or the Iowa City Police Department to better understand the culture. That way, by working together or understanding, if every culture at least, you may help them in every situation. And then at the same time, those communities, they may feel comfortable, addressing the problem or report any problem if you come across them. So I'm very excited to see you guys here. It's my very first time. So I was a little nervous. I was like,
Don't be nervous. It's all this is
So-
we're here.
yeah, so I hope it's not the last time. So.
Yeah. You've already interviewed and been hired, so that's not our job.
We don't do the hiring.
So tell us a little more about your background. So before, how long you've been in Iowa City and
All right, so I first moved in Iowa in 2016. And then it was a lot of stuff going on. You had to start, ESL classes and stuff like that. And then I just graduated from Kirkwood College in criminal justice. So from that, I got this opportunity here to work with these amazing people, and he started there. So I haven't lived in Iowa City yet, but I was living in Coralville for about 3-4 years. Now I live in Cedar Rapids. So. Yeah, hopefully I'll move down here.
Okay.
What part of Congo are you from?
I'm from Kinshasa part. I speak French and Lingala.
Good.
Yes.
Awesome. I'm from Congo as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Roger,
So,
what is your language?
French and Lingala.
Chilingal.
Yeah.
So you're from the Kinshasa part?
I am from born and raised in Kinshasa.
Oh, nice.
I
What
left
part?
Congo when I was about 17.
Oh.
I go back all the time. I actually was there last month. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Since I left Congo, I haven't gone back yet. So hopefully,
Hopefully you go back soon.
Yeah, future years.
Do you have
Yes,
other family here?
Yes, I have my big brother and my siblings, big brother and big sister. I mean, little brother and big sister. So they live in Iowa City. And when we first moved here, we were living together. And then when she decided to get married, I was like, you know.
It's a bit of a cramp on the roommate
so
situation.
I'm growing
right?
up, you know, you guys have your stuff, have your space and stuff. So I decided to move to Cedar Rapids. But I usually go down, visit them every single time, you know, if I got a chance. So maybe after here, I may stop by and say hi to them. So yeah, but I have a very big family, you know, relatives and stuff. I have my uncles, aunts, like about 10 or families, they live
Yeah.
in Iowa. So I got a couple of them in Chicago as well. So yeah, it's very good to have, you know, people around here. But I don't have my mom and my dad. They still
Yeah.
living back home. So yeah.
So this is a full-time position, right?
It is not. It is a part-time, but hopefully it can become a full.
Hopefully it can become. And the job of your job will not only entails to not only the Congolese community, but all
the
immigrant.
immigrant and refugees
Okay.
in general, yeah. Hispanic or whatever, Mexican and Puerto Rican, so it's like it's everything. It's not just Congolese. But I mean, I have a Congolese background, so I get more help or
Yeah.
a lot of questions coming from Congolese people.
Good, of course.
So yeah, but I mean, my job is for every immigrant and refugees group, and then I'm hoping to learn more about other cultures as well. So
Good.
And how long you been on the job?
2 months.
2 months.
2 months.
So how's it going so far? What have you? Who have you
it's going-
reached out to? And
It's going well. She's been there helping me a lot, and it's like trying to know our PD resources and then to know the resources in Jackson County as well. And then at the same time also bringing me to, like, you know, introduce myself to
Yep.
the public sometime if you got a chance, something like that. So that way the community knows about my job. I mean, everybody feels excited when they know about it.
Yep.
But as right now, not everybody knows. So those are like the opportunity that maybe people may hear from my position, which I feel excited, you know, having to share my personal stories and also help those immigrant refugees to kind of have a good prospect of how I see in policing, because I mean, I come from the same like area, was troubles and stuff, and then I decided to like come here, and then I studied criminal justice. So now other than my job, what I learned from school is also helping me, you know, to see law enforcement different than other people. So.
That's good.
we should do some introductions ourselves too, I guess.
Yes.
Really quick, and then we can. So you want to start over here with Siri? You want to give a brief introduction?
Absolutely. Hi, I apologize for being late, but it's great to hear from you. I'm Siri Brune. I'm a science teacher in our public schools here. So I'm sort of here representing my students and their varied interests and in Iowa City's community.
Nice.
My name is Roger Lusala. I'm my daytime job. I'm a chief executive officer for a nonprofit company here in Iowa City. So this is my second year, or going on my third year with the commission, or second year with the commission. So yes, the year
feels like three.
blanks. You know, when you get down to the work, it kind of feels like
Time goes fast. So.
yes.
I'm Jason Glass. My day job is I teach at the University of Iowa in the College of Business. I was an HR director, human resources in the area for about 20 years, and about 3 years ago started teaching. And I'm also in the National Guard. So I'm a 28-year member of the Iowa National Guard. So.
My name's Ashley Lindley. I've done a lot of social service work here in Iowa City with various populations. I've done work with United Action for Youth, Domestic Violence Intervention Program. I'm currently a full-time student at the University of Iowa. I'm getting my master's in social work, so very excited about that. And I'm also doing my practicum experience right now, and will be again next year with the Rape Victim Advocacy Program, so a lot of violence prevention work.
Hi, I'm Sylvia Johns, and this is my first year on the Human Rights Commission. And for my day job, I lead global partnerships, fellowships, and programs for a global nonprofit organization.
My name is Mark Priest. I'm a retired Christian pastor here in Iowa City. I've been to East Africa 3 times, but I'm only familiar with a little bit of French and Swahili. Otherwise, I grew up in a German-speaking house.
Nice.
It's one of those things. I'm actively involved with, I should say first, I'm a failure at retirement. My wife would like me to be more successful at that. I have 4 grandchildren that I'm trying to keep up with. If they didn't live 100 miles away, it would be easier. I'm actively involved with the Rotary Kerber Heart Safe community campaign, so I'm trying to get AEDs and CPR training. I work with the nonprofits. 3rd year on the commission.
Do you speak Swahili?
I do not, but my mom does.
Okay, your mom does, so
Yeah.
that's good.
I wish I could, but
Yeah, me too.
people say it's close, but I don't know how close it is exactly, or like how fast
not
I
really
could
that
learn
close.
that. So yeah,
I can understand certain word, but I
mean,
can't
I
speak
can
it to
too.
save my life.
You don't know
so-
Swahili either?
yeah, I can tell if somebody's speaking about something and trying to like catch some words and say, "Oh, you are talking about this." So that's all I can.
I
do.
was
So-
more successful learning Spanish than learning Swahili, if
Oh,
that
really?
tells you
All
anything.
you have to know is Sante Sana. That's all you need.
Yes, yeah, and bacon aquita. Yeah. Always tell me they're calling you, bacon aquita.
Okay.
I learned that one.
Do you have any questions for us or anything you'd like to?
Do not have any question, and then I'm just happy to see you guys and thank you for having me here and then introduce myself to y'all. So.
Sure. Any other questions for?
No, but you know what? I think I gotta recommend the police department
Yeah,
because
this is way
this
good.
is great. And I think the hiring of Daisy was a big plus in our community to have somebody with Spanish speaking in the police department to help, and now getting somebody with French speaking and Lingala speaking in the police department as well. This is awesome because we know we have a big Congolese community here. Not only Congolese, but we have the big African community and a lot of refugee community, and a lot of them are French speaking people. So having somebody with French and Spanish in the police department, we just need Arabic. Then we'll be,
Yes, that would be great.
then we'll be
Working
good.
on it.
So work on that one there. So I gotta recommend the police department for that. Make sure that the chief gets that. So thank you.
All right, no
Being
problem.
said, I think we can also maybe ask Daisy, how do we help make this position full-time? Because I think
And
the city
successful.
needs it.
Talk to your city council member.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a city council thing.
Oh, we can.
Yeah.
We would love to make it full-time if we had the funding for it, but as of now, I think we did get the approval, but just part-time. But if you love it and you want more, you want 1 or 2 more of us, definitely talk to the chief, city council folks, because we're not against it. It's just
Yeah.
the funding.
That means you have to do a good job, as good as Daisy does, so we can actually have something to go to the
You're
city
going to do
council
great.
with.
It's going to be fun.
I mean, it sounds like
No pressure, right? Yeah.
now it sounds like a little challenge, but
Yes,
We're all counting on you.
accept the challenge.
yes.
So,
Mark, did you have something? Sorry.
Yeah, I think, Joshua, you bring to mind, and Daisy too, this whole matter about language. And I'm looking at Stephanie about language as a human right. I don't know how this works, but like I mentioned, I'm distributing these AEDs.
yep,
When you push the button, they all speak English.
yep.
Now, can we get them with Spanish? Yeah.
Yeah,
Can we
I'm
get
sure we
them with
can.
other languages? Yes. But then it's a matter of where do you have it at what location?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's something that we're looking at, and I'll be interested to learn more about language as a human right.
Well, maybe, our phones nowadays, you can select a language. Maybe AED in the future will be that you can select a language.
They're available from the
Yes.
manufacturers. It's just, you can go down to Staples and you can get that was easy button, but you can choose your language on
Yep,
it.
yep.
You need to do that on other things. Stephanie, anything you wanted to say about language?
I mean, the city's pretty, I think, responsible when it comes to.
Yes.
We translate all of what
Yep.
we call the major important documents into 5 or 6 different languages. Any city staff member has access to a language line, so if we have a person who does not speak English or prefers to speak another language, we have an interpreter on the phone. I would say it takes.
You know, I know we're
almost-
fluent about that. I was thinking more in terms of people that insist, if you're going to talk to me, you need to speak in English. And it's like, whoa, chill.
Oh.
You know, I hear it in the
Yeah.
grocery store.
Yeah. You know, I think our community, Iowa City is a great community. We have such a diverse
Right.
academic community, so it's a great place to be. And I think every one of us work hard to make it that people can understand each other. So,
Okay.
I'm really
Yeah, as right
excited.
now, we have a couple of. I was working on some of the translating some of the forms that we have, like for domestic violence
Yeah.
in both Lingala and French. So, which I think it may help also the community as well.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, the black, those community, they don't maybe speak that language is most known. They may say I speak French, but they're really comfortable with Lingala, I
Yep.
would say. And then when you have, be there just speak whole French, maybe they might not be comfortable to be telling everything they could.
Yeah.
But if they're able to see something, oh, this is Lingala, or somebody speak Lingala, or some, for instance, I might be able to open up more and then tell more stories. So I think it's great to have such a diverse people with many languages, and then hopefully we get more people as well. So,
You know, for a while there, we had in the city council, we had somebody that can speak French and Arabic, and now we only have, Janice that can speak the French. So it would be good actually to have more people that can speak multiple languages in the police department. So you got my vote, you got my support. Whatever we can do with the city council, let's do it, because I think it only makes us a better community.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And to that, I wonder, as Ashley kind of talked about, it would be wonderful to be able to go to City Hall and or City Council and say, here are the things these are the reasons, specific reasons why this needs to be a full-time permanent position. Are there certain initiatives or maybe performance indicate some goals that you're hoping to kind of focus in on the next year or so that either we could support you with or just we could hear about along your way and then advocate on your behalf to say he came in 2 months in and said these are the things, and I don't want to put you on the spot. But I know I understand I kind of am, but these are the things that are really exciting. This is what I'm interested in. This is what I want to focus on. And then, 6 months later to see those things progressing and to say, he went in there and really got to work.
Right. So if I had to go with my comfort zone with the Congolese community part, I'm a young male. I'm only 24. So maybe, there is a bunch of guys that just get in trouble for some reason without knowing the law, without knowing how the police works and stuff like that. And then there is a shooting that happened, a Congolese who died. I think you saw that it's all over the news now. So it's just some of the stuff maybe we can't say a better way to prevent those stuff from happening is just to have, if people know more about what I do or like they are willing to work to be more able to comply with, with either the police or whatever, by educating them, they might be able to, turn their life around instead of getting a citation or something like that, or like being killed or something like that, just like talk or something like that, and then let the person, the problem go. And then the job, it can be also, like some people, they may try to call me and then they have questions after hours and stuff. But I have to focus on my hours. Like I have 4 hours, I have to get in, like, oh, well, I cannot talk right now, so could you call me tomorrow? Let's say it was like an emergency, so somebody really wanted to know something about something, or like not feeling comfortable calling 911 when it's like 9 p.m. or something like that, when Joshua's gone already.
Yeah.
But, they may not be able to do it. They're going to have to wait for Joshua the next day, but we don't know what happened the next day. So, there is a bunch of stuff that maybe I can be able to do if they extend the hours. But again, I'm glad with what I have now.
Yes, it's a good step.
Yes, as a grateful person, you just have to admire and then just be grateful for what you have now, and then but what you are doing, they may see, they may be able to judge if they want to keep it or make it more, or even make the position dead or something for Joshua's not working well, and then at the same time also extending those hours because Joshua's doing a great job, so.
So I'll make a suggestion to that point. So I would imagine you probably have some, goals for the position, and that you'll be reporting out on. Like, here's the impact that the position's made. I assume you're probably already doing that as part of the department or the city council. So I don't want you to do anything extra, but share that with us,
Yes.
if you would. So because we want to be advocates for this. So as you're putting your case together after there's been some wins, please make sure that comes back to us as well, so we have that as ammunition to lobby the city council to do more too.
And even when you were talking about, having these conversations, just really start to track it and make it quantifiable. So you can say, over the past 6 months, I talked to, 80, 100, 150 individuals about, and I had, conversations about addressing their needs and building a stronger community, and so that there's numbers attached to the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that way we can say,
Yeah.
you see, if this was full time, look how many more people we could reach.
Absolutely, yeah.
And reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out to the commissioner here. I think we all have, I don't like to call it expertise in different area, but we all have knowledge in different area that we can maybe help you navigate when you're talking to the people that, getting in trouble.
Right.
There's a way we can prevent this. So there's knowledge with the commissioner. We human rights commissioner, the human rights so big. It encompasses everything a human person,
Right.
a human being does. So reach out. And, Bijou's right there. Oh, she's also from Congo, and she does so much in the African community for free. She doesn't get paid for it, so she's not a paid staff. But she's amazing when it comes to resources, especially with the Congolese community, the Congolese health partners. Those are the things that, the police deals with all the time. So if you can get involved with, reach out with people like Bijou, myself, and everybody else here, we can only work
So you missed
together.
introductions. Do you want to do a brief introduction for Joshua too, just to introduce yourself?
Oh, sure. My name is Bijou Maliabo, and I've been on this commission for 5 years.
Forever.
Yeah. Long time.
I'm the OG here. 4 years? 4 years, yes. I'm Congolese. I've been here for a while, so I don't know what else you want me to. Beside the human rights, I am very involved in the community, in the African community, mostly Congolese and Togolese and all that. So, like he says, reach out.
Are you
Yeah.
in the Congolese community board or something, I should say?
No, I
you-
was
okay.
not. I was helping in the previous Congolese board that was there. And
Okay.
then the new one, I just assist when they need help for something, but I'm not into,
Okay.
I don't know if you know about the committee and everything.
Yeah, they invited me one time just to see what they do because it was my first time also being there. So they had a very new people there, a new president, which is
Yes.
like my dad. So yeah, it's,
Two type of
Yeah.
Congolese community.
oh yeah,
So they're like,
the only one I know it's the one they just created, like the Johnson County or Lane. So the new one,
that's one side.
that's one side. So that's the only side that I know.
Right, so you need to get to know the other side.
Okay.
Like I
what-
said, there's a big community.
Yes.
So
Okay, so maybe I will contact you,
Bijou.
we get in touch so that way I can know the other part as well.
Sure. That's fine.
But welcome aboard.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're
Thank you again.
excited to have you, and we're
Very.
excited to have, another language speaker in the police department. So that's a plus.
It's awesome.
Like you say, that you brought up just that a little bit, that we have a lot of people in the African community getting in trouble for no reason. So if we can have some more leadership and guidance. That's why we can prevent a lot of those things from happening.
It's very important. It's very, very important from your perspective as working with the police to tell, especially our community, about the law. I also interpret in court, so I'm there every day.
Right.
I know how it is with the DUI, and
Yeah.
they don't understand and
Yeah.
having their license and stuff, and
Yeah.
getting in trouble all the time. And then, so you being here, I think it's a plus.
Yes.
Because then they can understand it from your perspective, because you
Yeah.
work with the police, and then
Right.
you can bring the police to them as
Right.
well.
I'm not a stranger to them. Like they know me,
Yes.
and then they know once I get close to the police that
Right.
we all can get close to the police.
Right.
You know. So,
Correct.
Yeah.
That's right. That's the key.
All right. Thank you guys.
You
for
bet. We'll
having
let you off
me.
the hook. So thanks again for coming in. We
Oh,
really
yeah, no
appreciate it. Nice
problem.
meeting you.
Thank you. So I will be working on stuff. Maybe I'll hopefully see you guys soon.
Oh, you will. You'll see us.
All right. Agenda item number 6, update on race-based calls campaign. Do you have? I have a brief one. Do you have anything in additional?
Lee said he talked to you, so.
Yes. So this was what Lee, if you remember from last month,
Yes.
Lee Hermerson presented on that they're going to do a promotional campaign, in the community. And so I was contacted. They're going to put together a PSA of some sort that's scripted. So it'll be Chief Liston and myself and the mayor. All three of us. So I've been reached out to about that, but we haven't scheduled anything yet. So that's in the works. So in fact, I just was wondering because I hadn't heard anything for a while. So I texted Lee and asked if there's any update. So, but he said, "You're on the list. We're getting to it." So
PSA in the works.
yep. So that's all for now. But I'll certainly let you know when we actually do something and how it's going to go and filmed. So where it's going to be. All right, so number 7, Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. So I assume we need a volunteer to accept the proclamation. What's the date of that one?
It would be
18th?
May 3rd.
Oh, is it on there? Ah, yes, it is, sorry.
Well, there's two, there's the AAPI Day Against Bullying and Hate. So you can do 2 proclamations, you can do 1 proclamation, it's just kind of,
And because we had this debate last year, and where did we land last year? Did we do 1 or 2?
I think we did 1.
Wasn't it a joint one?
It was a joint one.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. So if we did that, then it would probably be on the 17th.
Of May?
Yeah, that council meeting, probably not the 3rd then.
So anybody would anybody be interested in volunteering to accept that proclamation?
Is there not a strategic planning meeting that evening?
Oh, I didn't know.
That's the 19th.
Is there?
No, it's the 17th.
Yeah, I think
It
you're
is
right.
the
I think the
17th.
12th and the 17th are our
Yep.
2.
Darn it.
Now that you say
darn
that.
it.
Oh,
Catch, Siri.
I'm looking at the wrong.
I did one thing today.
Yes, we have one on the 17th.
Well, then it would probably be at the 3rd then.
Okay.
We'll just have to bump it up to the 3rd.
Okay.
So May 3rd, so that's a week from tonight.
So there's council meeting on the 17th, and council's coming back here, right? So does that mean we're gonna move to somewhere else, or you're gonna find us a room?
No, you should be okay unless for
Fourth
some
Tuesday.
reason city council has a meeting on the 4th Tuesday.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
We changed our week so that we
You
wouldn't
should
be on the same
okay,
night.
But if they should ever change that, then yeah, we would have to. figure
Okay.
it out.
Yep, I was here for their meeting last week, and it was their first one back in here, so, which was cool.
Do we need this room because it's the cameras? We used to meet in the Helling room.
Yeah, the Helling room doesn't, well, one, we didn't go back there just because of COVID, because it's just a smaller
It's
space.
so tiny.
But, and
Such a tiny
2,
room.
it doesn't, it would be harder for their equipment to work in that space because they don't have all the things that they have.
So the proclamation, you're saying it will be on the 3rd then?
Yes.
And I'll be out of town, otherwise I would have loved to do it.
Yeah.
I'll be there on the 3rd for the Jewish American Heritage Proclamation, so
And
you want me
can
to
do-
do the other one?
You
That's
can
what
do
I'm
it
it
saying.
too
would
Wanna
still
for,
do-
be depending
dual-
on what you're doing. I mean, you do have a Zoom option too.
yeah, I'm not available on that day, so.
I am
But it's
available, but
Mark is doing
I
it, he
accepted it
can do
last
I'm gonna
year.
be
I don't want to hog it.
If Mark
So
is there, he can do both.
kind of combining those, is the Jewish one, the Jewish Heritage one, is that also May 3rd?
Yeah.
So it's the month of May.
So that's okay. I mean, we want to do a twofer?
I'm going to be there.
As I say, you don't have to do both if you don't
No,
want
I
to.
just
I am also available.
I don't want to wick anything away from the event. I don't,
No, you're not doing anything wrong. It's just, there's, if.
get it. What
Yeah.
I want to, you know, if you want to keep them separate, I think, Ashley, it'd be good for you to receive one and I'd receive the other.
Okay, I can do that.
All right.
Okay.
And
We got a handle.
So Ashley for AAPI and Mark for the Jewish American Heritage Month.
I will follow up with emails to both of you with the proclamations attached and CC Kelly so she knows who to anticipate being there. And their meetings are at 6 again, and they're here as a
Yep.
reminder.
And it's usually first thing, right?
Yes, the proclamations
Yeah.
are first thing on the agenda, so those will be done by 6:10.
Unless you want to stay.
Yes.
How much time do, I
I
only get 10
usually do
minutes?
because, I'm a nerd.
Yeah, me too. I stay for
I
a little
mean,
bit.
they've never cut me off before, but, oh.
I'm on it.
Yeah, technically, it's not like public comment.
No,
so
you-
Right.
there's no time limit on it. Now, I suppose if you.
After a while, they do start just kind of staring at you. but-
If you keep talking for a long time, I guess.
Yeah.
Call it holding forth.
That's right. Yeah, you have the floor, so it's like a filibuster. You just stand up there
Yes.
until they drag you off.
Can you tell spring is in the air and we're feeling lighthearted?
Okay, moving on. Number 9, funding request for the South District Neighborhood Association. So,
Wait, we didn't talk
Oh.
about programming under Asian
my fault.
Heritage Month or Jewish. So the
Yeah.
proclamations and programs are two different things.
Oh, my fault. Okay, so.
So that was just the proclamation part.
So let's start with the
Program.
Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. So what's the program?
That is, had sent an email to see if commissioners were interested in coordinating a program. And I think we can talk about them together for Jewish American Heritage Month and also for Asian American and Pacific Islander Month.
So there's nothing currently scheduled for programming.
Is there anything we have done in the past that was successful?
Not for these two Heritage Months, no. Which is why I thought it would be neat maybe for the commission to think of something that could be done, because I think, certain Heritage Months, I think people are more comfortable doing programming with, and so you see more programming, but it doesn't mean that there's not opportunity to make sure that, we're mindful of all heritage.
Does it have to be a programming, or it could be an event that will?
It can be an event, program, service, so yeah, that's just the terminology I'm using.
I know there is an event put together by the Chinese Association of Iowa City, but that's actually that's actually coming up this Friday.
Yeah, it's this Friday.
Likewise, with the planting of the Anne Frank tree.
Yes.
Right. But because Passover came so close to this proclamation, Rabbi Hugenholtz and I haven't had an opportunity to talk about program. I think that Counselor Weiner
Yeah.
would be, she was president of the synagogue. I
Yeah.
think that she too would be important to have in the conversation. So
It's coming up so quickly, though.
I'll talk to the Jewish community.
Okay, and see if they have an idea for a.
Well, and see what they have.
What they have going on, we can at least
It's
advertise
difficult
that.
because
Are those yours?
it's difficult because the synagogue is I'll call it a safe place, that strangers are not allowed in. And so it takes on a different perspective. It's a different conversation.
Hello,
Glad
welcome.
you came.
We got visitors.
So I have a couple of questions around the programming for each month. One, so last month for the fair housing, we had the screening, right, Stephanie?
So, yeah, I think what will come out in the strategic planning is that
Yes.
there's commission events, programs, and services, and there's the office.
Yeah.
And so those were primarily done under the umbrella of the office.
Okay.
Yes.
And so I was trying to kind of create opportunities for the commission maybe to plan some initiatives
Okay.
and outreach.
That's important distinction, especially because I didn't realize that. Because my follow-up question was, is there budget? Because it seemed like if you're going to have a film director come in, there was probably some sort of payment for his time as appropriate. And I didn't know if that then extended itself to any programming that we do.
I mean,
or-
I don't think there's ever really been any hiccups in the past in
Okay.
terms of what
Okay.
commissioners want it to do.
You know, in my opinion, I think that it would, because we represent the community, it makes a lot of sense for a lot of these months to reach out to the community and to the associated organizations, to see what they're already doing and not try to reinvent the wheel.
Sure.
You know, as someone who's kind of a newer transplant to the area, I don't know the leadership within the Asian American Pacific Islander community, but I'd be happy to at least initiate a conversation around that. It sounds like of course, they're already doing things for the month. I don't, you know.
Yeah,
But
this
I think it's a good conversation to have, especially as we go into the strategic planning.
Yes.
Conversations that, you know, we should be more active and more proactive within the community, period.
Well, I think the strategic plan will also help us kind of to be better prepared. Maybe have things planned throughout the years instead of last minute trying to put
Right.
things together.
Yeah, we're being a little reaction.
Yes, exactly. And I think also reaching out to all those associations out there, so we don't always have to initiate a program, like you said. If the organization is already having something, we can promote that instead of trying to always create the program, because we're not all expert in those
right,
areas.
right.
We're not expert in the subject matter. So if an organization, if they, it's a Sudanese month, the better people will be talking to the Sudanese community about what are you guys doing that we can promote throughout the community and also bring awareness of those organizations as well.
Yeah, it would be an opportunity to not only promote, but to partner,
Yes.
partner with them in some way and also share. I mean, we talk about the social justice grants that we got to give out right at the beginning of our terms, to make sure that they're aware that those are happening, and offer opportunities to collaborate in the future.
Yeah.
So let's all take a note as part of the strategic planning we're getting. Is that's a line item on there, is kind of creating a calendar, or that we can look out ahead and so we can be more proactive about planning.
I
ahead
would
for that
love to have a calendar of all those special events or important events, so we can actually know, February is this, March is this, May is this, and what are the programming going on that we can start promoting
Right.
early on, so we can actually get the community aware of what's going on in each specific
Right,
community.
and we can start down. Because I like the idea of getting into by next year being so instead of saying what's the proclamation for this month or next month, we need to assign that because we have to look for schedules.
Yep.
But then we also say, okay, well, this month is coming up in 6 months, so let's start planning. Who can we who would like to volunteer to help put something together or reach out to another organization so that we have plenty of time to do that.
And it also be good for us probably to start designating a representative from the Human Rights Commission on those events. Going to those events at that point, I'm representing the Human Rights Commission. So
Yeah, that's a good
they can
idea.
also know that we are supporting those events. And I know in the past we have done, who's available. But if we can actually start designating a person that you will represent the human rights on this event, that
We
way.
have it calendared in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe they can put you on the agenda. You can say a few words about human rights and things like that. So those are good things that we are looking forward on that strategic plan.
That's all
And it-
great stuff.
Maybe
would
you
be
need to
really-
extend the hours.
I think it'd be really important to see, just even as someone who's new, and I don't know if everyone here knows, of all the various different organizations that exist in the community related to these months as well, so that we're making sure we're being equitable and fair and really reaching out to everyone that's representing that particular month. And I just, I don't know if there's already a directory of
There's
the,
directories out there, but
yeah.
Yes.
whether they're inclusive of all communities, probably not.
Probably
They're-
not.
They're,
It's interesting because
It's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Because I am dealing with nonprofits, I scrutinized, and I found 1,400 nonprofits in Johnson County.
Yeah?
I'm not surprised.
There are many.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they don't all want an AED.
I want one.
No, Stephanie brought to my attention last month or 6 weeks ago that, we are just coming into our stride, having been in COVID.
Yeah.
And so it may not look like we're robust and nimble, but we will be. And this conversation inspires that. I think that's where we're headed with the strategic plan.
And going back to the program, I don't know if the timing, the proclamation will be on the 3rd, so that means we are already kind of in May, and I don't know what programming we can put together in this short period of time. I'd rather reach out to those organizations to see what programming do they have in place and how can we share that with our network.
I was going to say that same exact thing. I think reaching out to, just off the top of my head, Monsoon. They've been doing a lot of programming
Yep.
in our area and up around Waterloo area. It might be worth reaching out to them to see if they have anything planned in the Iowa City area for the month of May.
Yeah.
And that we could just promote that and ask if we can do anything to support them and collaborate.
What is Monsoon?
It used to be Asian American and Pacific Islanders in Solidarity. They recently, well, I can't say recently anymore, within the last several years they changed their name, but they serve the entire state, but recently they've been doing a lot of programming over on this side of the state.
Got it, okay.
So Mark volunteered to reach out to the
So I've
Jewish
talked to
community.
Ashley and Josh at Hillel, and I've talked to Rabbi Hugenholtz, and I'll continue that conversation. But as soon as Passover is over, the rabbi's ready, but Ashley and Joshua, they've got graduation now, so I'll be nimble. I'll get
Okay.
connected.
Okay. And was there somebody who volunteered to reach out to Monsoon?
I can.
You can do that.
And maybe you guys can just share with us the information so we can share it to the
We'll
community
back
as
to
well.
Stephanie if there's anything we can plug into or.
Or do.
Yep.
We'll help with.
Yes.
If you want to copy me on that
Absolutely.
message, I'd love to just be
Yeah.
connected with the community there. Yep.
We're gonna
Thank you,
get
guys.
acquainted. It's just reality.
Thank you, Stephanie, for keeping me honest and
Keeping us on our toes.
making sure we're addressing this stuff. Moving on, so now the funding request for South District Neighborhood Association. That's in your packets. Angie Jordan had reached out to me a couple months ago, or reached out to Stephanie, I think, and copied us on it. But I think going forward, they may be interested in applying for one of the grants, but it was past that deadline. So, and I recommended to her that if they wanted some funding for the diversity market, that we do have, limited amount of funds for that, and I encouraged her to put an application in. So that's what this is.
You just answered my question because I was going to ask why didn't they apply for the social justice grant because this fits in there. So
yeah, so she reached out in January after the deadline had already passed to submit those. So I would anticipate they will probably apply for that next year. So
I went to those diversity market last year and it was great. It was just great to bring out the people of the community and just accessing some of those businesses over there, and we bought a few things, and so I'll be in support of it. I don't know how much we have left in our budget,
Yeah.
Stephanie.
so that was my biggest question. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm certainly I'm with you, and I think they've got a lot of momentum around growing that for
Yes.
this year. So I think it's it's a great cause. The amount was more than we usually fund for one of these kind of ad hoc requests.
I think it's important to also look in tandem to that second application that's asking for about 700.
Yeah, so we're gonna get to that one too.
We
'cause
got
that one, I have
1,000 and 700,
I have a lot more
yeah.
questions about that one because there's not a lot of detail
Yeah.
there. But so question from what we have left.
You have basically 1,000, because you have 500 from Corville Pride.
Yes.
Tim was able to provide invoices, so that's coming. In fact, he's already gotten his check, so.
So we have 1,000 left.
Correct, and then you
until
also had-
June, right?
Yeah, and then you had United Nations Night of 1,000 dinners. And then just some possible upcoming opportunities, maybe, you have Juneteenth and Pride coming up too in June.
Yeah. And all those organizations, again, those are great social justice grants.
Just
But
for my clarification, is that through the end of June or is that until the beginning of June?
It would run through June 30th.
Yep, that's the fiscal year.
fiscal year budget. So we have $1,000 until June 30th.
And we haven't received any requests for Pride or Juneteenth, which would also fall in June, which we have to kind of think ahead on.
Do we know what we have, can we ballpark what requests, like?
We did something for Juneteenth last year.
I mean, usually the amount the commission awards is, I would say, 250 to 500 is kind
Yes,
of the
that's
normal.
kind of what we have done.
Yep.
Because all those organizations can also directly ask the money from city council or discretionary city managers fund or things.
And the diversity market in particular, I know, I mean, they've put on here, they have a lot of sponsors. They also did a GoFundMe for individual contributions, which I gave to. So I know there's a lot of people that were giving some individual contributions. So they're reaching out to a whole bunch of people. So this is, and anything that we give is, it's going to be appreciated. And more than we've given, this is a new request. We haven't donated this before. So
I will support giving them partial funding. If they have a lot of sponsor, if us giving them something, it just shows the support.
Yes, I'd
Agreed.
recommend that we approve $250 for the South District Neighborhood Association request.
okay, so moved by Priest.
I second.
Second by Brune.
No problem.
So for $250 to South District Neighborhood Association for their diversity markets. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There you go, $250.
All right. Let's take that away from our budget. We have $750 left.
Gives us that gives us
Until
some room for the few other things.
June
we-
30th.
So this second one is the Center for Family Services Global Network. So, and that's in here too. So I'm gonna flip to that one because. Do you have any more information about this than what's in the application, Stephanie?
No, I don't.
Because it's pretty limited. So I was concerned. I would have a lot more questions about what exactly this is.
Yeah, I mean, I know that if some of you, he wrote a book, and I know last year, I don't remember if I mailed it standard mail or if I dropped it off with the grants, but I know a few of you had requested his book and read his book, or at least got a copy.
I
I
don't
did,
think
I
I
know.
got one.
You were, yeah, because I kind of think Jason, I know Bijou, I don't remember.
Yep. Thank you. I was not recognizing the name. So.
Yeah.
So I'm having a hard time understanding exactly what is the request for, because it looks
Right,
like,
it just says church and social gatherings.
So the best I can. So if he's written, is this specifically to buy copies of his book to distribute to people? Is that I'm trying to read between the lines? Then given.
Correct.
Okay.
And it really, just as a reminder, these are reimbursements, so the South District, and if you chose to do this one, I mean, they have to spend the money first and then submit.
Yes.
To get the.
which is always the best way to do it.
So thoughts on this one?
It's so fluid, we don't, my hunch is that the money will pay for the books that are distributed.
Right. That's what it sounds like. Is that he's planning on distributing. I assume the book. A bunch of books that he's authored to. It's kind of not a specific group of people, but it says churches and.
Because we have so limited funding with the $750 left in our budget, I would not support this.
My concern is that I think the funding would almost certainly be spent on those books, but I worry that they might just end up on people's tables if there isn't a
That's-
really strategic planning around that. I mean, it talks about discussing, which I think, could really contribute to eliminating racial tensions, but how carefully is that being planned?
Perhaps we could. I'm kind of with you, Roger. I wasn't inclined, especially given our limited funds and the other things that we want to support. But I would encourage him to submit a grant for next year if he wants to do some programming like this, so that he can give a lot more detail about what the programming is that goes along with purchasing the books and how that's going to impact the community.
You know, I'm also a proponent of using our community resources. If he wants people to read his book, he can also donate a copy of it to the Iowa City Public Library or Coralville, and people can check them out and read it.
Before they can,
Right.
read it themselves.
You know, not everybody need to buy a book. Now, we don't all need to have a copy of the book. That's why we have the library, because the library got all the copies.
I almost
So
wonder
with
if, sorry.
Technology nowadays, it's like everybody want to read online. Like I don't want to have time.
The library can do that for us too.
I almost wonder if it would be more
Yes.
strategic to invite him to
Yeah.
collaborate with us to do some kind of reading so that he could actually like we could almost help him with the programming where if he picked some sections to read and then we say, hey, this is at the library if you would like to continue.
Because if the intent here is that there's programming that goes around the book and there's an education and there's that kind of stuff. First of all, that isn't in here, right? But if I'm reading between the lines, if that's what he wants to do, then I would rather see that and have and he's obviously welcome to come to a meeting and present that or submit a grant proposal, which would be a lot more detail, and that could be something if that's meaningful that we could get behind.
It would be nice if he can come to our meeting and kind of just give us,
In
general
the
about
public
what he's
comments, he
doing,
can talk about
what
he
he's
can talk
doing,
about
what
it in
he's-
the public.
Yeah, we can put it on
comment.
the agenda and have him present what his vision is for those
Yeah,
things.
I agree. So, do I need to motion to now fund this one?
No.
Nope.
No.
We just
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
There is not support for the proposal, so we don't make a motion to support it, and we just move on.
To Siri's point, though, earlier, I wonder, when you were asking about trying to partner with him in some more strategic way, for the South District Neighborhood Association, and the very least, is there a way that we can promote that as well, since we are
Yes.
funding it? Like, do we automatically know that we're?
You know what, I believe the city is a sponsor.
The
of that.
city's a
Or
sponsor.
there's another city department that is, because I think I've seen it advertised, and
Yes.
I swear the
It's-
city.
The neighborhood
everywhere.
department.
Is the
It's-
city's
yeah.
logo on it?
The county, the city.
The
It's,
Yeah.
county, the city, they have
It's
great,
never-
and the neighborhood organization itself, they
Yes.
are amazing at promoting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask kind of a side question? Is it, I'm still trying to learn, I understand that some of the social media that I'm familiar with is The Office. Is it appropriate or is there any precedent for a commission having a social media so that we could, or some form of like communication platform so that we could promote some of the events or like?
I remember the city attorney spoke about this. I mean,
Yeah.
it would be pretty restricted and regulated.
It will be.
You're representing the city.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess I feel like the Instagram account that we have is pretty supportive of the Human Rights Commission.
Okay.
So,
Right.
I mean,
So there's some
So we-
there would be some open meetings concerns with a
there's
commission
things with
run
archiving and,
social media thing, so.
and comments and things
And-
like
Right.
that, so. it's
Okay.
Right.
just-
So if there's something that we want to put on social media, we can do that through the city department, through Stephanie's department, and so because
And
our
it
commission's here to
depends-
support
yeah,
her too.
It
so.
depends on what it is, but the South District programs are gonna get promoted on virtually every.
oh, there.
So is it
But what-
best practice for us to just share those things through our personal social media? Is that what?
Yeah, if we strongly, want to share that, we can share it through our own personal social media, which
We do.
I don't use much
Jason
of that.
is like the best at that.
Jason's on top of it.
Jason
with
is on
the
top of
social
it.
media.
Just
sharing.
give it to Jason.
But the answer is yes. So you please use your own personal social media stuff. So I'm primarily on Facebook and LinkedIn, but I try to share stuff either from the city or outside programming, or I like just yesterday I pushed out some stuff from the Iowa Department of Human Rights and
Yeah.
our youth programming and that kind of thing too. So yeah,
I'm just
please
trying
utilize.
to learn how to use that appropriately.
Well, I think
and-
one of the reasons why this commission exists and why we have people from different parts of the community is exactly that, is so that we can advocate with our individual networks. And so collectively, we reach out to a whole bunch of people because we're not homogeneous in that way.
Thank you.
Do we know then that, because it seemed to be very much agreed upon that South District Neighborhood Association was already going to be out there, do we know for the social justice grants that centered around events, that those are also being published through the Iowa City social accounts as
Yeah,
well?
definitely,
Yes,
definitely.
okay.
You know, I think that, I'm gonna not comment on that, but yeah, they're very well advertised.
Okay. Yes.
And the deadline is very generous. It
Okay.
starts the first Monday in December and it runs through the first Friday in January.
They are.
So
Okay.
people, and you know what, most of them come in the last 3 days of
Yes.
that week, first week of January, so.
Just
But it's a generous time, and it's a very reasonable application. I mean.
They are very well
there are
publicized.
They have YouTube Channel 4 does a lot of great job. The team.
Yeah. I think what it comes down to is sometime the last minute of the event is coming up, then they realize, oh, we need to request some funding. So they're now proactively thinking about it. They're going to have this event every year. The social justice grant comes that they should apply for it. So, our limited funding as a commission, it's always going to be that we don't give them exactly what they want. But if they apply for it through the grants, they could have gotten the
Better
full thing.
chance,
Yeah.
yeah.
Has some good news along those
Yeah,
lines.
I guess my
Yeah,
question
too.
was more just to understand the connection between us, again, giving out these social justice grants and then continuing to be engaged and supporting
Yeah.
them
Yeah,
throughout.
And I would encourage each of you, if you're not already, to subscribe to the city's, go to the city and subscribe to their e-subscriptions. There are so many different categories.
Yes.
I mean, I can't tell you everything, but I think a lot of this would be better helped if you followed
Yes.
the city on, and I don't just mean the city of Iowa City, you have Parks and Rec, you have the library, you have the senior center. I mean, there's a lot of different departments here that have social media, and I would encourage you, Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, even on LinkedIn, the city has a page. So, I mean, I think you would have a little bit better, for lack of a better, I'm gonna say flavor of what the city does advertise
And you
how
can
they advertise.
choose what you want to
If
get.
if you followed that,
Yeah, and
or
get the
even
email
looked
push
at them every
notifications and
now and
everything
then.
too. So,
Yeah.
so most of them have. There's several of them that you can sign up to get their
Yeah.
emailed updates and newsletter and stuff. So, then
And sometimes people don't also realize that the city also have an app, the Go app.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So the Go apps gives you can get the, track issues, city news and new issues, city hall access and city fund directory. So I use my City Go app actually a lot. So, and I think employee uses that too to log into their stuff. So there's a lot of those things. So City of Iowa City has an app. It's called a Go app.
And I think that will show better than I can tell that, the DEI efforts or the EDI efforts, whichever word you prefer to put first, are not just in the lap of the Human Rights Commission or of the office. I
Yeah.
mean, you should be seeing the same themes in all the departments in what they're advertising, their programs or services, et cetera, so.
okay, moving on. Youth awards updates and roles for the May 11th meeting. So, I assume you have some stuff for us, Stephanie, on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of it will probably be sent out in an email a few days before the event. But the event will start at 6:30 promptly with dinner being, I'm not going to say served because it's a buffet, but starting it right at 6:30. Probably having Jason go to the mic, and I can follow up with you, Jason, later,
Yep.
so that I'm not boring everyone over the very minute details. But just telling everybody, okay, we're going to start, promptly at 7 p.m. But so it would be ideal if commissioners could arrive, pretty close to that 6 o'clock because people
Yeah.
are going to show up early. The RSVPs are due by Monday to me.
Do we have to RSVP?
Yes.
Well, I just counted all 9 of you. If you know
Okay.
you're not going to be there, then that's what I would need to know.
I'm coming.
If you're bringing somebody, that I would need to know that as well. Because
Okay.
it is a, since there is a meal and it's a seated event, I need to make sure that everything's correct on that part. But the main thing is to make sure you wear your pins. And just
Oh,
for
yeah.
I've been doing this for 17 years, so just some of my best practices. If something tastes funny, if something smells funny, come and get me. Don't wait till after
Was
it's
there
over.
like a major food
And-
poisoning incident
yeah,
before? that we
wait
don't know
till
about?
after it's over and say, oh, the coffee's out, gone. You know, just like if there's something that you think is important, tell it to me while it's happening.
I think there's a story there we need to hear about.
I think there's a story there.
And then
When in
if you're
doubt,
one of the
it's that.
persons who is
Yes, okay.
speaking, you know, adjust the microphone so that it's working for you. You might have somebody who's taller, you might have somebody who's shorter, but for purposes of the audience and for purposes of the recording, please make sure that you adjust it so it's appropriate.
You'll be the only one speaking. right?
I want to help.
I'm good. I'm
You wanna
well,
speak?
well
I don't
reversed in
want to
mics.
speak, but I want to help something.
Well, I kind of did, I mean,
Last time.
obviously Ashley and Jason, just because of their, you know, the
Their
chair
role.
and vice chair.
I would be very willing to speak. I mean, since
I don't wanna
I'm
speak.
Yeah, well, there's
involved.
not that many opportunities.
Okay, well then,
I'm sorry, I don't have 9 opportunities for this, but, I mean, basically, we do the welcome, which is usually the vice chair, so that would be Ashley. Comments by the mayor,
Yeah.
and then Jason would do the award presentation, and then we would have a commissioner just basically thank everybody for coming and to come up for questions. The main thing is if you are part of the program, you got to make sure you show up and
Yeah.
be there, okay?
Yep.
Because it's a printed program,
Yep.
and I can't go and change Stephanie's name to Daisy if something changes. And so that's just one thing I would ask, and I realize that there are certain circumstances that come up that, you know,
We'll be there.
obviously would be exceptions, but just general ones, the expectation is you would be there.
No worries.
We're going to see each other a lot in the month of May.
Yes.
Yeah, you are. And the event it shouldn't even take 30 minutes once it starts at 7, so I'm anticipating that it should be over by 7:30.
How many nominations did we end up with?
24.
Okay.
That's
Wow,
not bad.
that's a good girl.
Good. Hopefully our well,
And
I
they
know
all
that may not be as many as in the past, but that's at least worthy of having an event and recognizing some people.
Sure,
so-
oh, definitely, definitely.
We'll blame it on
Hopefully we
the-
had, that last minute push to get a bunch of stuff out, helped get a few more in, so.
Well, that's 24 recipient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
24 nominations is 24 awards.
And if I know a person, that's why the RSVP, but if I know a person is not coming, then we don't read,
Yes.
it's just for folks who
Right.
come.
Gotcha.
And it will, since we're not at the Englert, it will be nice because we can just call people up in no specific order. It will be an organized order, but at the Englert, it had to be extremely specific or things really
Yeah.
got.
Oh, right, because you have to get up on stage and all that logistics. so
You
this
had
will
to
be-
make sure
yeah.
they were in the right seat in the right order, but this will be an opportunity to just call them up and they can just come up.
That'll be great.
Yep. So I think that's, like I said, I'll probably send out more stuff, but if everybody could be there, I'm working with the parking so that commissioners don't have to pay for parking. But yeah, 6 o'clock, name tags would be much appreciated. And I'll need 2 commissioners to sit at the entrance of the event to check people in so that I know who actually showed up.
I agree with that.
Bijou wants to help.
I will. I want to help so bad.
There you go. You had 2 volunteers.
Oh,
over
we
there.
got-
Have a
Bijou and
recipient.
Siri.
Are you going to want to enjoy that experience, though?
Well,
You know?
I'm a for sure.
can I at
You
least-
can think about it, but I don't want you to miss the
Can I-
experience.
He wants to hand out the awards.
You want to hand out the award?
Like hand it to
You
them.
can say
Definitely,
the
I'll be
name
there,
and
I
I'll
can
hand.
help.
Can I do that?
There you go. You can do that. Yeah.
I mean,
It'll
if
be
you,
So I'm
fair.
going
I
to
can
show
do
you
the
I'm going to send you guys all the link from the most recent.
Yes,
award.
please.
And I think that will help some of this because the main difference is we're not going to be doing the handshaking.
No handshake.
No handshaking.
Right.
Which is something that we've done in the past. But because we're not on a traditional stage, we're not going to have 9 commissioners at the front of the room. So it's going to be
No.
very similar to how it was at the breakfast.
At the breakfast, right. So,
Okay.
so I'll read the nomination and invite them to come up, and somebody will hand them the
And
award.
they'll come up, it will be a little different in that you say Stephanie Bowers, you wait for Stephanie to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I'm there, I turn around, face everybody, and you read all the great, wonderful things.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then people clap, and then they go.
They get their award and go.
Perfect.
They don't get the mic to thank people or
No,
anything like
no.
that. Okay.
Yeah, they're not expected to
No,
make remarks.
No
But I'll send the link so that you can get an idea of what it
If they
looks like
don't-
in the past. But
I'm
like
gonna
I
give you what
said,
my daughter's gonna say.
it will
So
be a little different.
She has already a whole speech, so
Because
Put it on her
I think
nomination.
Bijou,
so
are you
maybe
the
you
only
can just
one?
read what she's gonna say.
Yeah, well, if
Yes.
yeah, I can.
Yes.
we can make that part of the deal. Yeah.
That's why I'm too excited to send it.
That's why she want to help. She want to present. So we can take a picture of you giving it to your daughter.
Yes.
Well, we'll have it, there's a photographer, a professional photographer, there'll be a red carpet, and there'll be
We'll
a
make
wrap.
happen whatever you want to make happen.
Oh, yeah, so you'll have definitely an opportunity for a lot of family photos.
And we usually take a group picture with
You,
the
at the
recipient.
end, you'll take a group picture,
Yeah.
yep.
That's great.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
That's gonna be fun.
What are we having for dinner?
Not
That's what you're
poison
concerned
food. Maybe coffee, maybe.
Whatever it is, make sure it smells good.
And it tastes good.
No, it's not that, I'm just saying, like, sometimes, like, the coffee would run out, and so, nobody would say anything.
Everybody's complaining about it, but but nobody's
And
let
it
you
was
know.
something so simple, to go and say, hey, can we get, another,
Yes.
Or, one time I think somebody said, this was for the breakfast, oh, the eggs were cold. Well, why would you tell me after the event? Like, if the eggs are cold,
Yeah.
tell me while it's going on.
We
so
can
I
still fix
get
it.
fixed,
So we can
right.
warm it up,
So
pop it
just
in the
little
microwave.
things like that. And if you eat, if it's, one time we had 2 commissioners doing check-in, and they decided they wanted to eat before everybody else. So they do that, but then they leave their plates. Just, so people who are coming in, I'm sorry, I just, come on, folks. I run a tight
Stay
ship.
at your post.
So be warned. Don't be that person. Stephanie will.
Don't
Just
be that
little-
person.
Just little things that, go to appearance. I mean, it just didn't look great for everybody who
totally
came in
agree.
afterwards to see these two, plates that have obviously been, eaten. It's like, take it to the,
I'll be walking around. If I see any plates, I'll snatch them and put
Well,
them
there's not, they should leave the plates. I told them to leave the plates on the table. Don't do any cleanup until after the event, so you don't hear the clanging and people walking.
Okay.
in front of you. So, I'm talking
Stephanie
about at the
thinks-
outer registration table where people are checking in,
Gotcha.
not at the.
She thinks of
actual-
everything.
We'll be great.
We'll be great.
We'll make you
We'll
proud.
make you
Amazing.
proud.
Okay,
We will not disappoint.
17 years.
It's going to be the best one ever.
We really appreciate you.
Thanks, Mom.
We got your back.
Thank you.
Always.
Okay. Public Works Open House. So this is what Stephanie had sent out for. We're all
Yes.
signing up to do a shift at
Yes.
the open house. So if you have not done that yet,
I have
then-
not done that yet because I actually have soccer tournament all day that day, and we don't know what time the games will be based on your sitting. So,
I mean,
and
I think
I'm the coach. So
we're, I mean, it basically from the schedule, it looks like Ashley and Jason 8 to 10, Siri and Bijou 10 to 12, Sylvia and Mark 12 to 2. So there's nobody to cover the 2 to 4, but I don't think that's that big a deal. I mean, you
Okay.
can just pack up at the 2
That's,
o'clock.
that's still
can-
pretty good. So you've gotten pretty good response then. So
Yeah, yes, and I'll have to get the
yellow conflict
stuff to Jason or Ashley. I'll have to get it to you before the 21st.
for a table to set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it will be quite a bit of stuff, so just so you know. But we have a cart.
We can come back and clean up. I can come back and clean up.
It's a lot, like there's a lot.
That's okay. I'll bring
Okay.
them.
There was a meeting today, and they said setup could start Friday, so if that's
Perfect.
easier the day
Well-
before.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
It's gonna be a
Awesome.
big production, so there's gonna
It
be a
will
lot of
be.
people
Yeah.
setting up, so, yeah.
So that's good to know.
Noted.
So I'll probably plan then on, if I can just take the stuff down myself. I'll
Oh, then yeah, then it's already set up for that Monday morning. We just need to show
yeah.
up.
But
Okay.
it will be a lot just because of the volume of people they're anticipating. You'd rather have too much than too little, so
Yeah.
I just want
Right.
to make.
Are you bringing the stuff on Friday? Do you need help?
I will take help.
I can come and help on Friday.
can
don't know
appreciate
what
that.
time
Thank
on Friday
you.
you're gonna take it.
I will let you know. And
And
I
then if it helps, they also
Bijou?
said it would be fine to leave stuff there and pick up on Monday, because since it goes so late, they're like, we know people are just gonna wanna go home. So
Okay.
things can be picked up on Monday.
Well, I'm available on Monday if you want me to pick stuff up and bring it here.
I can help on Monday too.
You guys are nice.
We got your back.
I appreciate it. Hopefully the city's resources are able to make it so I can do everything, but I do
Okay.
appreciate it. And I will definitely let, you guys
Seriously,
know
just
if
reach
something
out,
should
like-
But
change.
I can
Yeah, yes.
definitely,
So, yeah, let us-
definitely help on Monday.
Let us and confirm that if you're able to get in on Friday, so we know
Sure.
we know that we can just show up.
That's good to know, though. Thank you, Daisy.
We got you.
Glad they're doing it
Yes.
that way.
Votes involved.
Okay. Number 13, Social Justice and Racial Equity Grant Reports for FY21 and updates for FY22.
That was good. That was a good report.
Yeah, I mean, the reports are what they are. I mean,
Yep.
you can kind of read through them.
Which are always great.
We already read, yeah.
There's one organization that we still haven't gotten a report from, and I think it's just probably oversight. So I will follow up with them again. And
Which one was that?
Sankofa.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And then, and they're in the midst of their curriculum right now, so I mean, I'm pretty confident that it's oversight and it's not anything intentional or anything like that. So for the FY22, of course, Jason went to the city council meeting last Tuesday.
Yes.
Where they approved the recommendations that the Human Rights Commission made in terms of allocations to the organizations.
Yeah, so they.
So yeah,
emailed
so they officially so all the things we recommended from our grants for the 75,000.
Yeah.
They approved.
Yeah.
So that was great. Some additional good news. So I made sure to mention so I kind of did a brief presentation of here's the process. Here's what you're being presented. Here's the organizations. I didn't go into depth about each project because they had that in their packets, but that would have been kind of long. But I did make mention very early that we had $75,000, and we would very much like that to be double that amount, and that we believe that there are many worthwhile projects that we don't fund, and we believe that up to 150, we would still be funding very worthwhile projects. Because not necessarily every single project that gets submitted would be one that we would
Yes.
necessarily fund, but certainly up to that amount, we would, historically, all that money would be to worthwhile projects.
Yeah.
So they confirmed, which I was already kind of aware of, but Jeff Ruin, the city manager, confirmed that they've, in their budget for this coming fiscal year, they've already allocated 100,000.
Yes.
Right? And I think there was appetite amongst the council to look at even so we're basically locked in for that being 100,000 next year.
Nice.
So that
great
sounds like
news.
basically a done deal because it's in the budget. But I think there was room for that to go even higher.
So, and Stephanie sent that email about the work session. Is that something we should go and advertise for that additional?
Yep. So I'll get to that. So I've had a couple of councilors reach out to me individually and wanted to talk about the process and those kind of things too. So that's very encouraging. And as Stephanie sent out, they've put that on their work session agenda for next week. Any support, if you can show either virtually, is there still a virtual option? Can you still show up on Zoom?
I
for
don't
that?
think they do that for work sessions.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So it'll be here in the council chambers. You can attend in person,
And that's at 4 o'clock, I think.
Correct.
that's at 4:00. Yep. So that goes from 4 till 6 at the latest, and their formal meeting starts at 6.
Yeah.
So that will be them discussing the potential of. I think it's not completely off the table that they might allocate some additional funds to try to fund more. Did you get the sense that it was like even for this year?
Yeah, I got the impression that it would be for your next grant cycle, which would be FY23.
Right. Okay. So
Which last July?
what's that?
No.
Yeah, so the next time we do the grant stuff in the next January session, so we know that we're confident that'll be at least 100,000 and potentially more than that. And the mayor had mentioned, because he'd mentioned as part of his part of the discussion, that would be one way of allocating more like the Black Lives Matter funding, the commitment they'd made as a city. So, which is great because I said that often last fall.
Yeah.
So that was I'm glad to hear him resonate with that. So I think that there's some interest from the council in
That'd be great.
going above that. So all good news. So it's already going up to 100, and it could be 125, 150. So
Wonderful. Thank you.
Wonderful.
And if commissioners can be there if they have questions, I mean, usually staff handles city council matters,
I'm
but
trying to
this is
figure that
something
out.
that staff literally,
that's our thing, right? So
Yep, so I can say, well, the commissioners told me
it's
that,
next Tuesday,
but
isn't it?
if they have questions, you're the kind of the first line of.
yep, week from tonight. So week from today at 4 p.m. in here.
4 p.m.?
4 p.m.
Yes, the work session is at 4 p.m.
And I don't anticipate it being a long discussion.
No.
You know, I would be surprised if it's more than 30 minutes, but.
Yeah,
it's
and then
possible.
they'd still have to put that on their, so the discussion will just be around, seeing who, if they've got enough support to up it, and then where that money would come from, because they'd have to talk about that with the city manager to move some stuff around the budget. And then.
I think they would probably send it back to the commission, and then they would have staff put it for a future council
Right.
item.
So then they have to put on as a formal agenda item on a future council meeting to actually approve it. But you'll have a pretty good indication from the work session and the discussion which way the wind's blowing.
Okay, thank you.
And so just to kind of wrap that up, so we're working on the agreements now for the recipients for FY '22 so that we can make sure they have their money in hands by June 1st.
Yep. So in fact, Mazza here was at that council meeting for a different reason. She was sitting behind me, so when they approved it all, I was able to congratulate her because the Center for Worker Justice was on there. So if you have any connections with some of those grantees, then feel free you can officially congratulate them now because they're getting the money.
Because the city news email came out actually today.
It did,
So,
yep.
yeah.
Oh, okay, I missed that.
Yep.
All right, so number 14, correspondence. So two letters, follow-ups from both the Night of 1,000 Dinners and the MLK Youth Summit. So just some thank yous from the people, and because we supported both of those. I know I attended the Night of 1,000 Dinners. I thought that was a really cool virtual program. And then I was on the planning committee for the Youth Summit too. So which was very well put together. I think we wish there'd been a little more participation than we had, but it was still a really good program. Any other comments on either of those two?
No.
Okay. Strategic planning update. So this is just more of reminders. So hopefully everybody has that on their calendars for May 12th and May 17th.
Let's be
at
sure
those
we have an
times.
address.
Okay. And because you sent out calendar invites for these, right?
Yeah, it's on the calendar invite.
Ben, don't worry about it, I'll find it.
Okay.
12th is the
Well, I'm
Terry
gonna read it
I was
though.
gonna say,
while we're
wasn't one
here.
of them supposed to be at Terry True?
12th
And
is
it
the
got
Cherry Tree
updated. I
Blood.
updated it because the other place became available. And
Oh.
so it's Terry True Blood is more complicated because they contract out the setup. So it's just easier to go with the other place.
Okay.
So, Mark, the address is 2401 Scott Boulevard Southeast.
I can visualize it, thank you. I thought that's where it was, but glad you
This is for
confirmed
the
that.
12th.
This is for the 12th and 17th.
Okay.
They're in the same location.
They're both in the
So
same place
Go
now.
to the 12th on your calendar. It says update venue change to City of Iowa City's Environmental Education Center.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's
And
the
does everybody
restore.
know what that where that building
The
is? and what it
Restore
looks
place?
like?
Yeah, by the restore
Yeah, it's that kind of building that's set.
on the side there. Yeah.
Got a lot of
The
nice
building with
photos.
the stuff on top.
Anything else on?
I think the only thing so the orders, your meal from, let's see, what day is this? There's two different caterers for each day. And so some of you responded to the first one, but not the second. So if you go back to your emails and get me your meal order, that would be helpful, so I can just get those sent in ASAP and not have to worry about them close in time to the date. The only other thing I have is you all should have I'll call it a handbook that has like images, kind of like a booklet in front of you. And that is, because Bijou is probably one of the only members who have experienced the commission times. We have updated ones, but these were the easiest to print and get ready for today. But it just gives you an idea of kind of what the commission, has looked like over the programming that they've done. And so I would encourage all of you to take a look at that before the strategic planning meeting so that, it just kind of gives a better representation than what I think the orientation, or what one member can do who's had a little longer time on the commission. The types of programming that, and these, for the most part, were commission programs and events.
Okay. So yeah, thank you for putting that together.
Yeah, thank you.
Seriously, thank you.
Okay, anything else on strategic planning? Or we look forward to those discussions and seeing you all there. Last but not least, staff and commission announcements. I'll start with staff this time, so.
I don't have anything, Daisy.
Daisy.
So we had 5 newbies graduate from the academy Thursday. So they will be here next meeting in May.
So 5 new hires all
We
together.
hired them a bit ago, but the academy is about 4 months. So they are graduated. They are officially over here getting their in-house training, and they'll be here next month. They've never been officers before, so you'll kind of hear where they kind of come from background-wise. We have a pretty diverse group, so that'll be good to have them meet you all. And then kind of circling back to the Public Works Open House, we'll be there. It's the city's putting a lot of resources into making this happen. But if you want to invite others, definitely share. I know there's going to be a lot of really good city services being advertised. Parks and Rec are working with, I believe it's DNR, like they're making birdhouses out of refurbished wood. There's going to be roller skating, food trucks, like a lot of good city services being advertised, but as well as other local entities kind of getting plugged into. So if you know folks that want to go, it's free, and it's going to be a good time. But yes, 8 to 5.
Question back to the police officer hiring. So, I mean, because I know they were down like 10, so this is, we've had several new hires. So where are they staffing wise now?
That's a good question. It's just so crazy because there's so many folks in different stages of the field training process. It's kind of hard to figure out like where we actually are. The folks that came, I believe last month, they are actually almost done with their training, so they'll be solo here soon.
And a lot of those were previously.
Yeah, they were all people.
Yeah,
they were all
yeah,
previously
so-
police officers in other departments, right?
Yeah, so that's why their training's a lot quicker than like very fresh first-time police officers. But I want to say we're getting closer to where we should be, but we also are just finishing another hiring process or hiring round. So maybe in 2 months we might have even more faces for you all to meet because
Well,
We enjoy it.
really short.
Well,
Getting better, but in the time it takes to train everyone, it's usually about a year before they can even benefit full staffing levels for
Sure.
their shifts. So we'll be bringing more new faces for you to meet.
But we look forward to meeting them.
Awesome.
Stephanie, you said you didn't have anything?
No, but thank
Okay. So, commissioners, Bijou, I'll start with you and we'll just go around this way if it's okay.
I have nothing, thank you.
Okay.
What do I?
I don't have anything.
Make the count going really fast then.
Well, you can talk.
I'm too shy.
Are you serious?
That doesn't describe you at all.
Well, I mentioned this earlier, but I pushed some stuff out on social media. There's 2 things coming up for the Iowa Department of Human Rights. So I was trying to cross-promote some of their stuff. So I forget what the date is. I didn't write it down. So it's a couple Sundays from now where they're doing a program on a Sunday evening just as a educational thing on all their youth programs. So like the Youth Congress and...
I saw that.
Yeah. And so then there's another one that I just saw on social media, which I didn't push out, but it's the youth groups themselves doing a presentation of some of their work. So, and I think that's like the following Wednesday or something like that too. So if you're interested, if you know of youth that might benefit from some of those things, the State Department of Human Rights has those programs have been going for a very long time, and they're really successful. And when I was part of that on the Human Rights Board, they were always lamenting that some of the eastern Iowa communities like Cedar Rapids and Iowa City that had some of their own stuff in their cities didn't plug in as much to that, so they get a lot more from like the western half of the state and from smaller communities. So, but they're great youth programs. They like the Youth Congress. They get together at like Camp Dodge, and it's like a full week, and they do like literally like a mock Congress and then debate bills, and it's this whole kind of like legislative thing where they actually, and they present some of their stuff to state legislators and all that kind of thing too, which I think was really cool. So just
Nice.
look into that. And I think that's all I have.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted because it's the end of April. Sexual Assault Awareness Month is wrapping up. I've got, right now, actually, the Take Back the Night stuff is going on. So there's probably a march wrapping up right about now.
Is
And
that tonight?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and then that's hosted by RAC, Women's Resource and Action Center. So they're going to be doing, they do the march and then they do a rally. I believe it's down on the Pentecrest. So if folks don't have anywhere to be after this, that will be happening. And then this weekend, so Saturday is the last day of the month. That is when I will be doing the organized event that I planned with All the Way Up Studio in North Liberty, doing a trauma-informed dance class for survivors. So if y'all have folks in your sphere of influence that you would like to advertise that to, we still have spots open for the workshop, and I brought flyers with me. So please hang them up in all of the places.
You have an electronic one you can email out?
I do,
Awesome.
yes.
That'd be great.
100%, yeah, because we want to try and get to as many people as we can, so the more the merrier.
Awesome.
I have no updates today.
Mark, anything else?
A couple things. Well, you know, I finished the 1619 book, and I was very inspired by that. And through Stephanie, I was able to enroll in a webinar on April 14th. It was called Race and Femicide, and I was so glad to be part of that. I don't know if any of you were. I hadn't encountered this experience before of listening to women, particularly a Native American woman from South Dakota, the Dakotas, and she taught a lot about what extraction does, not only to creation but to lives. Talked about pipelines as arrows in the heart. It was, what I was so appreciated is that as a tall white male, I need to hear the voices that would otherwise not be heard. So listening to a woman, Hawaiian woman, who is adamant about, I am Hawaiian, I am not American. You took my land from me. 60% of Hawaiians are unemployed. And meanwhile, our military bases leach fuel from their tanks into their land and pollute their water. This is just sort of the example, but to encounter then what I would say would be otherwise the voiceless, to be aware of Standing Rock anniversary was just this last month, and how significant that is in our American history, and it ought not be forgotten. Then two, I'm part of the Iowa Interfaith Alliance anti-racism team that meets every Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock, and through that I'll be recording a short video, 2 minutes, on Ruby Sutton, who was an African-American leader in Dubuque, that introduced me to C.T. Vivian and confronting racism one person at a time. I've been busy, and these things keep me awake at night.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Any other updates from anyone else? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
You gotta move.
Go ahead. I move to.
I second.
Moved by Bijou, seconded by Lusala. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
Stephanie.